Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our AFC Divisional playoff preview between the Baltimore Ravens and the Denver Broncos. Now let's take a look at some keys to victory for both teams, starting with the Ravens.
When you look at the Ravens in this matchup, I do believe this game will have to be won by their secondary. You look at the first meeting, they were able to do a great job of banging on those slot wide receivers, and what that did was slow up the timing for Peyton Manning. He held that football just a little bit too long, and they were able to get some pressure on him early. They got to Manning twice, and that's all you really need to try to get that ball back for your offense. So when you look at Kerry Williams, Chucky Brown, those guys banging on those wide receivers, slowing up the timing, could give them a chance for success. Now, offensively, I do believe the tight end play will be key. They're going to have to run the football. They're going to have to slow this game down and make it a possession type of a ball game. You can't go point for point with the Broncos offense. You got to out formation. You got to out possess them, and that's how you win. So look for Dennis Pitta and Ed Dixon to play huge roles in this ball game. One, in the running game, getting these guys on the move, and also the passing game, forcing those linebackers to cover and widen out that pressure. If they can do that, the Baltimore Ravens can definitely go into Denver and knock off the Broncos. Now let's look at the Broncos in this matchup, and you know when you face the Baltimore Ravens, they will bring all kinds of pressure all day long, which is why your misdirection game plan has to be ready and available at your disposal. And that's your misdirection run plays, like your counters, your traps, your draws, those type of plays. And in the passing game, screen plays, your quick flare outs where you don't block the blitzing guy. That's how you can protect Peyton Manning. That's how you neutralize that pressure. And if they're going to be able to do that, it'll go a long way in the Broncos having continued success versus the Baltimore Ravens. And the key battle will be on that offensive line. Can they do a great job up front like they've done all season long? That's going to be something that you're going to have to watch throughout the course of this game. And one thing I noticed about their offense, when they went to the twin set, that's two wide receivers to one side, it loosened up their coverage, the Baltimore Ravens coverage, and they were able to move the football down the field. So also keep an eye on that. Now defensively, they did a great job versus Baltimore. They held the Ravens on third down to 1 out of 12 conversion rate. That's 8%. If they can come into this ball game and that defensive line, those defensive tackles in particular, can do a great job of getting that interior pressure, that's going to force the Ravens to block inside out, which you should already be doing, thus opening up one-on-one opportunities for Von Miller and Elvis Dumervil. Both guys have double-digit sacks, which then in turn should create more opportunities for the corners like Chris Harris to make some plays on the football. So you see it starts from the defensive line, works its way out to the defensive ends, and then back into the secondary. Jim Caldwell, the offensive coordinator, will be the X factor in this ballgame. It will be his job to find ways to neutralize Dumervil and Von Miller from rushing Joe Flacco, giving him time in the pocket. If he can do that, the Ravens will definitely walk away winners. And for the Broncos, the X factor will be their linebacking core. They're going to get front-loaded with the running game. The Ravens will come in, double tight end sets, and try to impose their will on this Broncos front seven. If they can hold their own, it really curtails what the Ravens want to do offensively, and that could go a long way in the Broncos moving on to the next round. Now, here are some of my coaching points for both teams in this matchup. For the Ravens, they have to get off the field defensively. You can't allow Peyton Manning these long, sustained drives. Otherwise, he'll make you pay. And speaking of making people pay, you have to make the Broncos pay by scoring touchdowns in the red zone. You can move the football with that short passing game, with the running game, but you have to come away with 7. And defensively, you got to stay aggressive. Force Peyton Manning to get rid of that football quickly. Don't allow him to dictate what he wants to do offensively. For the Broncos, you want to force the Ravens to play disciplined football. The way you neutralize an aggressive defense, make them think out there, make them hesitant, and that way you can have a chance. Offensive line play is another key part to this matchup. If they can hold their own up front like they've done all season long, Peyton Manning is one of the least sacked quarterbacks in the league. He has to be the least sacked quarterback in this game for the Broncos to win. And make this game Manning versus Flacco. Stop the run, make Joe Flacco beat you consistently, then you can have a shot. I like the Broncos in this ball game. A lot of times we just want to focus on the Broncos offense and Peyton Manning and what they're able to do. But this Broncos defense is top 10 in the league in a lot of different categories. And most importantly, they can stop the run. And what's going to happen, they're going to disrupt what the Ravens want to do with speed. A lot of times speed can help you stop the run. It can definitely help you stop the pass. So I look for them to get the Ravens in some 3-and-out situations to where they're going to get that ball back for Peyton Manning, who at home can't put up points. So I like the Broncos to win a very good ball game versus the Baltimore Ravens and move on to the AFC Championship. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Bronco fan forums and Raven fan forums for always showing football game plan support.